Get there. Hi.
Hi.
What's up? You're
We did
so
it.
beautiful. I love this green
Yeah.
background you have going on.
Thank you.
It is. What color is that green, or am I just like seeing wrong?
It's called Bermuda green.
Ooh,
Um,
Bermuda green.
we just painted our walls because we didn't have a lot to do. Like, let's paint the walls.
Let's paint the wall.
Yeah.
How's your day been?
It's been good. It's been spacious. um, it's been pretty good. How about you?
Good. I was just telling them like I've been looking at the weather from outside, from like my window all day, and I've just been a little jealous. A little
Face pressed up against the window.
just like staring at it like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, one day I will see the sun again.
Yes.
But I've been doing a lot of that. And then a lot of my friends today called randomly. And so that was a really nice treat
Oh,
to
good.
chat with some friends. Oh my
I actually
gosh.
went outside today, so that
Oh, you
was
did?
I did.
How was it?
I braved the outdoors. I went for a run very begrudgingly, but I went. And I like walked down to Central Park, and I got there, and Central Park is packed. Like
Packed?
I think it was like raining yesterday, so everyone and their mama decided to come outside today. So it was like everyone was running up against each other. I was trying to find ways to dodge in and out while still maintaining distance. People,
Yeah.
they're out here. But
What?
yeah.
That is crazy. Okay, this can. Oh, I'm trying to like wave at everyone too. Hi everyone. We're gonna give it like 2 more minutes, and then at 7:05 we'll get like into it. We'll start our chat. I've been like fake singing on here for the last 4 minutes. Um and Ryan right here, she was like, oh, you got to be a little bit crazy to do what we do, because I was like, oh, I sound crazy. But yeah,
It is.
see. Let's see.
I like
What?
this top you have on.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I gotta tell you, right? So I was cleaning up today,
Mm-hmm.
and I told myself that I wanted to like give off like rich auntie vibes while I was
Oh,
cleaning.
okay. Yes.
So, little like manifestation, because I want to be rich auntie energy.
Yes.
And so I put
I
this
feel
on.
like that. Come through.
I have like a matching pant to it, but I have no idea where it is. So
No one will ever know.
no one will ever know because I don't have
Yeah.
to stand up. I don't have to stand
Yeah.
up. 4 p.m. here in Arizona. Wow, that's what, a 3 hour time difference.
Are you in Arizona right
No, 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 no. Ryan's right here on
now?
in
Oh,
the comments. I'm in Jersey.
you're in Jersey. Where in Jersey are you?
East Orange.
East Orange? Okay.
Where are you in Brooklyn right now?
I'm in Harlem, actually. I had just the
Oh.
Harlem before everything.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a move.
It is a move.
Yeah.
But it's so specific. That's
Yeah.
I miss it. Uh,
hmm
yes.
I'm
But
so happy. So
how was
how's it been up there? What's it like, like over here in East Orange, like it's relatively quiet. So you have obviously like our essential workers going out, but other than that, it's been pretty chill over here. What's it been like in Harlem?
you know what? It's okay, considering that this is like Manhattan still, it has been quieter, but
Mm.
people are still outside. I see like right across the street there's a couple old men just shooting the shit like any old day. I think especially in urban environments like this where we're like stacked on top of each other, people just
hmm
out, so they'll like be outside their stoops, or like there's a motorbike like brigade that rolls through every hour. I'm like, okay, y'all, find your freedom.
Listen, do what you gotta do.
Still
Do what you
relatively
gotta
quiet.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It is 7:05. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Black Girls Do Theater at Home live session series. I'm Renee Harrison, founder and actor, well, actor and founder of Black Girls Do Theater. And I'm joined here with our special guest, Miss Shayna Small. I'm so happy to have her here today. For those of you who are just joining and might not have seen the original post, but like clicked in because you were like, oh, Black Girls Do Theater is going live. Shayna is a Brooklyn-based actor, singer, and teaching artist. She got her BFA from Juilliard. She's a graduate of Baltimore School of the Arts. We love to see it. She's an arts ambassador for like the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington. And we're just gonna have like a fun conversation today about teaching artistry, acting, and also where all of this lies at the intersection of arts and civic engagement. So would you like to say anything before we start?
I'm excited about this. It's going to be fun to talk through this.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us about your origins in the theater.
My origins. People always laugh when I say this, but my origins really were church. Growing up in church, can be very theatrical. Like there's a lot going on. Like I learned about like oration by watching a pastor a sermon. So I feel like a lot of my instincts, my natural instincts, were from being in church. And then from there, my father was he's a musician, and he was a music minister for a long time for various churches as I was a kid. And he used to put on community plays and community camps for a lot of the children in the neighborhood, and he would write musicals. So I was participating in the musicals that he got involved in. And then I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, and that's where my my first sort of training grounds kind of happened for technique and learning that. That was really the beginning, but I always credit it back to church.
Yeah. And what age did you start? Did you really begin like to specifically in this while you were going to church? At what age did you really find a lot of interest in performance?
Young. I feel like a lot of actors are like that. I think that they, not all, but a lot of actors like know that they are kind of like that they have that in them. That they're like the ham, you know, just show it out. I think it was young. I had always been interested in storytellers. And my favorite storyteller was actually my grandmother. She would like do Bible study. Her Bible classes were off the hook. Like she was so animated. And I was like, wow, that's amazing that you can get all of us little badass children in this place to listen to you right now. She had it. And enraptured with her. Yeah, I loved hearing stories. So I think it started pretty young. Yeah.
And so how did that manifest into you, in addition to being an artist and creating as an actor and a singer, how did all of that manifest into you becoming a teaching artist? Where did that journey begin? I'm always so interested.
Yeah. You know, I had taught when I was younger. My father had like summer camps, and I would pseudo teach, but also be a camper, and like, you know, I think I really started becoming a teaching artist when I was in college. There's this company called Artists Striving to End Poverty / A-Step. It's an amazing organization. Please look it up, support them. And I think I was like a sophomore or junior at the time. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And we went down to Miami, Homestead, Florida, and we started teaching there. And it was the first time that I understood my responsibility as an artist, or understood that, like, yes, acting. Like, conservatory is so specific. When you go to school for acting, you're like, you're learning the nuts and bolts, you're learning the technique, you're like combing your hair with an apple for 5 minutes. You know?
Art school,
It's
hashtag
so
art school.
specific. You rolling around on the ground. But I felt like I needed a why, you know, to get me through some hard training. And the why was this civic engagement, was the responsibility that we have as artists to make the stories important, to reflect back into society. And I remember reading this book by Toni Cade Bambara, and if you haven't heard of her, she's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't.
Amazing activist. Like, this woman is a badass. She was like an activist. She was a professor. She was a social worker. She studied mime in Paris. That's the Motor Brigade. They're really good.
Coming around. What time is it?
Like,
7-Eleven? Yep.
16 of them. Just out. Like, hey.
They had to get their fresh air. They had to get the fresh air. Listen.
Good. Okay, Toni Cade Bambara, she had this quote that I resonate with all the time. She said, "The role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible." And I was like, yes.
Oh, wait. You gotta bring it back.
You gotta chew on it. It's so good.
Okay.
She said the role of a writer is to make the revolution irresistible. I think I swapped that out, but it still resonates.
Can you repeat her name for us? I'm gonna write it down.
Toni, Toni, Cade Bambara.
Bambara. Okay, yeah. Thank you. I'll have to check that out. Check her out.
Sure, do it. That really resonated with me. So I've been keeping that and trying to remind myself of that. You know, when you on the hustle and you're audition to audition, when you're in the middle of trying to figure out what this role is, or during the hard times, trying to remind yourself of purpose is so important, especially in this business,
Yeah.
It's very transactional. So, yes, that was a long answer. I don't even remember what your question was.
No, you answered it. We were talking about we're your origins and teaching artistry began. So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome, by the way. Hi. We're so happy to have you here. But Shayna, in our conversation, we were talking about those defining moments, right? And those defining moments for you as a teaching artist and then as an artist, actor, creator. Can you tell us more about what some of those moments have been? I remember the story you told and I was just so filled with warmth. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too after we talked about it. It was this young girl that was in Homestead, would not talk to nobody at all. And she signed up for musical theater. And so I was like, huh? Are you sure? But that's how it goes. I get it. By the end, she was up on stage, lip syncing for her life. I felt just overwhelmed to see that transformation, because our voices are important. And I think, as young Black girls, we're told not to speak out. And when we do speak out, it's considered sometimes to be aggressive or being being bitchy or whatever you want to call it. And it was so important to hear her just belt the note out, and her mother was there. And I think that she, carried some traumas coming into the program. And a lot of this work that we do as teaching artists isn't necessarily about trying to get somebody to be the next, Tony Award winning actress.
Right.
It's about empowering people to speak even when their voice is shaking, to speak out loud. And it was so important for me. And I learned from her. And you're learning as you teach. I don't think I am offering mesmerizing information to students, but I feel I actually end up learning more from them than they teach me. But that was definitely one of those my first proud teacher moment, when I was sitting there bawling watching her upstage. Yeah.
I definitely think about all the moments like growing up, um, where I had like whether they were arts teachers or like family members who may have like dabbled in the arts in their lifetimes, and just watching, being able to see them like flourish as adults was
Mm-hmm.
always something that was really inspiring. And I think that's also part of the reason why I pursued art making and creating in this way, because you had an example, right? Like we talk about representation and really being able to see yourself and visualize who you want to be. And it's so important to have people who look like you in those spaces to remind you that you can do it too. It's not that far.
It is.
Yeah.
Building blocks. Absolutely.
Building blocks, building blocks.
Yes.
So now talking about teaching artistry, right? And then also your career, how do you balance the work and the work that you do, at the talking about that intersection of art making and civic engagement. What does that balance look like for you?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know. I I'll say that I think I have gone through a lot of cycles where I will teach for a little bit. I think the nature of theatrical work is that your schedule is kind of in flux based on like
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. Um, and so a lot of the teaching artist work that I've done is either happened like at a camp or like it's been like small short programs. Um, but I found myself, I want to say like a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, getting burnt out because teaching artist work was all that I was doing.
Mm.
Um, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm teaching. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I going to tell you? I'm not answering. So I had to like actually take a step back from it and like
Mm.
remind myself like what I was doing, why I was doing it. And I think it's so important for people to do, especially if you're in that space where you're like on the verge of about to be, becoming a more bitter, enraged person. You just and
Mm-hmm.
had those teachers where
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to say that like, just
I know
like,
what you mean. I know
are
what you
you
mean.
sure you want to be here? And
Mm-hmm.
I could not do that. I couldn't bear to like be that person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through these cycles where I will teach, and then I'll go through a period of time where I will like learn again and like just be taking classes, or and then I'll be working. And so right now, like obviously I'm in a forced learning situation,
Thanks,
we're
COVID.
right. I'm like,
Right.
can I play the guitar? Maybe I'll try and figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like that type of cyclical progression has been super helpful for me, staying positive and staying like fresh and ready and present in all different aspects, but they all inform one or the other. Like I'm never like not a teaching artist,
Mm-hmm.
artist, and I'm like teaching and learning at all times. Like, some of my greatest teachers are the people that like I'm around.
Yeah.
So it's
Someone commented here, I remember you used to teach me at Stella Adler. You were great.
oh, where is that? This is my
If you
first
just,
time on Instagram Live. You should have seen me.
oh my God, it
I was
is,
like hitting the phone, like, what's gonna happen?
yeah, it's kind of weird. If you just scroll up ever so slightly, I think his name is Zayvon. Zayvon, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
Uh,
That's so sweet.
I remember him.
Used to
He's
teach
an
me at
amazing
Stella
artist.
Adler.
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so how do the two, talking about like teaching artistry, that you're never not a teaching artist, how do these two avenues inspire each other? Where, I love the crossroads. I'm just so interested, in that little section,
That
that little right
section.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I find that I'm always like, while I'm teaching, I'm reminding myself of the things that I'm like working with, or I find new ways of approaching something based off of what somebody else did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I think back on it, and I'm thinking about like when I went to school and I was in college, like some of the biggest breakthroughs were actually by watching somebody else like in class. So when I'm teaching and I see and I have a direction and the kids are um, taking their own approach to it, that's a learning lesson for me. And then I find myself like taking those lessons into whatever work that I'm doing. And then the work is like, oh, so I'm coming up against this issue, or I'm finding like this hard to do, or like this part of like letting go is hard. What exercise am I using right now to like investigate that? And how do I make that into a habit that I can like practice consistently? What is that like mechanism? And then how do you teach that? I don't really know, but we'll see if it works.
You're so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I still,
Oh,
yeah,
girl, that's you.
you are so cool. What age do you, what age ranges do you teach for your
I
students?
I have an easier time teaching high school, middle school, high school. I've taught
Okay.
all kinds of ages, but I think like high school, middle school is my wheelhouse.
Oh, really? So when I was in undergrad, I went to the new school, and so the new school is really big on civic engagement
Mm-hmm.
and artistry, hence why that's like the, the major talking point. But we had to do a semester of teaching artistry.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, and so I was teaching like third and fourth grade little babies in the classroom, and then some of my other friends were teaching middle school, like eighth grade, seventh,
Yeah.
eighth grade, and it's just like the classroom dynamics, how everything changes. Kids are, I love them. I love them. It's just thinking about like their experience, what they were having with like working with high schoolers and like eighth grade
Mm-hmm.
students. It really opens up the classroom to like conversation, to see what's really happening
Yeah.
with the younger students, with the younger generation. I'm saying that like I'm not 23, but you know what I mean. Like I was there
Children's.
like 5 years ago. The children, the babies, the
Yeah.
babies. What kind of acting work, like what genre of acting do you like? Do you prefer like doing comedy? Do you like
I
doing like
love I love new work. I love new
you have
plays.
a mm,
Comedy, dramedy, satire, farce.
mm,
I love the creation process of doing a new play.
mm,
Um, because you get to make it what you want it to be, and when you're the first person, you put your stamp on it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, new work. I, for a long time resisted saying that I like musical theater.
Why?
I there's so much about it that's so beautiful, and I love music, and I love when the two find a beautiful marriage where one doesn't kind of like outshine the other, where the
Mm-hmm.
singing is necessary, like it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I love new work. I love doing
Mm-hmm.
new work. The last, I think, one of the defining moments of my like performance career was doing this show called Parable of the Sower, and it was an
Mm.
adaptation of a novel by another woman whose name everyone should look up. Her name is Octavia Butler.
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah, she's since
Born right
passed,
here.
but she is a prophet. Um, and it was probably one of those shows that comes around like once in a lifetime opportunity. But it taught me so much about myself and about how to engage in the world. And like when we're talking about civic responsibility of artists, like
Mm-hmm.
the manual right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, New York is
What's your favorite musical? Since you
my
said that
favorite
you
musical. Oh God, I'm trying to remember what's the last one. I What is the last musical that I saw?
it feels like so long ago, doesn't it? We've been
Yeah,
inside for
that's so
we've been
long
inside.
ago. I don't even know.
I don't even,
Okay,
it's been like a month and a half, and it feels
I,
like it's been a year.
it really does.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I love Sondheim.
Mm.
I really do. I don't even love all the musicals that he's written, but I love his lyrics, like his lyricism.
Mm.
It feels like an actor's playground, like doing a Sondheim musical. I mean, I would obviously say the musical I did before with the Octavia Butler is
Yeah.
another. I'm gonna say Sondheim. I just love the language. I think I'm a language person. So if the language is there in the music, then I'm like, hey, let's go, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, someone has a question. Can you explain the parable of the sower? Why is it about civic responsibility?
Come on, questions.
Come
Thank you.
on, questions.
Parable of the Sower takes place, oh God, I don't even remember when she wrote it. It takes place in 2023 or 2024, which is like, she wrote it
Next door.
years ago. And it's about what happens in a society. It's this society, once all the systems that we have created have begun to break down. So water is like a necessity that no one can get, and you have to pay an arm and a leg for it. Security, policemen, firemen are all like privatized. Cities are privatized. Imagine like Amazon having its own city. And it follows this young girl who is the daughter of people that were attached to these old ways of thinking, and their city burns down, and she's like starting a new religion of sorts, or a new way of thinking of that God is change is the basis of this new religion. And so we follow her and the people that she collects along the way, and it's about like as they flock through California, and how you move in the world. How do you protect yourself while still being inviting? How do you like walk down a road and know which people to walk down that road with? Who's going to be there to protect you? Who's going to be there to watch over your back? How do you fall in love in a time when nothing is safe anymore? And it's so poignant going back on it, because it's today very much, but it also isn't today. Like, we're not there quite yet. We still have systems in place to take care of ourselves, but that's what it's about. And that's why it was definitely one of those shows that actually prepared me to think about who I want to be in a pandemic, who I want to come out of this situation as. And I so hope that we can leave this space trying to like rethink how we want to be in the world. And I do worry sometimes that we're going to go back to the normal that never really worked. But everybody read Parable of the Sower.
Yeah, definitely adding that to the book list. So how have you been during COVID-19? What's that process been for you? Like, what's that adjustment been for you as an artist?
It's been interesting. I'm an audiobook narrator. That's my day job.
Oh, that is so cool. I love a good audiobook.
Girl, me too. Love when they pay me for it. I had just bought this like booth to put into my house right before the world went to shit, and I was so lucky that it happened when it did. So that's been a lot of my day has been recording, and a lot of it is just I've had moments when I'm just sitting in a corner and I'm just like, I don't know, how do I make hair gel? Like, is that a possibility? Like, why is everything sold out? What am I gonna do?
Right.
I've been cooking a lot. Nike Training has an amazing app. The premium is free. Check it out. Yoga. But I've also been allowing myself to be confused and be just like wherever, because what are you gonna do? Like, I think I naturally am a busybody, so I like to feel like I'm productive, or like I'm doing something, or like I have somewhere to go. And I think this has forced me to sit down and like sit with myself, and it's been really difficult, but it's been really needed. So yeah, I'm learning to accept silence and learning to listen to silence, if that makes sense.
It does.
Also, I made a lot of cake. I don't know how it's going to counteract with the yoga I'm trying to do.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. No, yeah, it's like, starting off because it just happened so suddenly, right? It was like what, March 16th.
I mean, what have
That
you been doing? What have your like? Oh, she bent down.
okay.
She had to talk
Well,
about
let me tell you. So, right before everything happened,
it. Mm-hmm.
I was in Cuba. So I was in Cuba from March
Yes.
12th. It was it was a perfect little getaway. The only thing is that, of course, in Cuba, the access to Wi-Fi is so much more limited. Like you have to be at a hotspot, you have to buy a card.
Right.
And so my friends and I, we were there and really not in tune with what was happening in the United States. We had people in Cuba asking us, like, about the person in office right now, what the United States was doing about COVID. And we're just like, realistically, we can't even answer this question because when we left, there was no mass media coverage about what was going on in the States. And so we got back on the 17th, flew into LaGuardia. Well, we stopped in Miami, and Miami's chilling. Miami's like, fine,
A lot
my
on the right.
Miami. Got into LaGuardia, and the tone completely changed.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate to have been able to have like this great experience in the islands before coming back into this long-term quarantine. It was great at first. Well, it was, let me not say it was great. It was cool at first because I didn't realize how long this was going to last. So I'm thinking 2 weeks, okay, great. Like my job said we're going to be working from home. Okay, great. Okay, great. And then cabin fever started to kick in.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, it just hit me like a bus. And I had a really rough 2 days of just not being present at all. But since then, um, just like started trying to talk with my family, friends, also making time for silence and being really intentional about that silence has
Right.
been essential to keeping my joy. Watching TV, I've been watching Little Fires Everywhere, which
I'm trying. I
no,
can't get past the first episode. I
okay,
was
no, you have to do it. You have to do it. I promise
this is
you.
what people keep telling me. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
For everyone watching, have y'all seen Little Fires Everywhere? Just please like thumbs up or something. It is incredible the way that I love Kerry Washington. I love Reese Witherspoon. The entire cast, superb.
Tiffany Boone.
Um,
I think Tiffany Boone plays the younger Kerry Washington. The young Kerry.
yes,
I know she's on. I know she's supposed to have killed. I need to like
she killed it.
finish
Just
it.
get through the first episode. Yep, Little Fires is really good. Yeah, not yet. No, you have to get on it, guys. I
Yeah.
promise you,
Okay.
it is crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of that, and then just started watching Mindy Kaling's new show on Netflix, Never Have I Ever.
I haven't watched it yet, but yes, it
It's
looks good.
cute. It's so
Yes.
cute and quirky. It's cute. So that's what quarantine has been like
These
for
are important.
me.
Listen,
I'm sorry?
these are important things.
Important. And so now we're here. This live session, I was just really thinking a lot about like community, like
Mhm.
what are other artists doing at home and how can we just kind of kiki chat, but also like encourage people while they're at home.
Yeah.
And now we have Black Girls Do Theater at home. I couldn't come up with
I'm
anything more creative than that.
grateful to you for starting this. This is an amazing project, and like you're so young. I'm so happy that this is happening, and I wish that when I was 23 that this was here. I do. This is a fantastic project, and I hope that it like continues building traction.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just very fortunate for I really think that ideas are gifts, and the to build, to like actually like act on the idea is just the first step. And
Right.
then once you do that, all the people come and it begins to grow and flourish into this really, really beautiful thing. And so I'm just grateful for everyone else, like just jumping on the bandwagon and really just kind of working with me as I figure out what I'm doing.
You're
What I'm
doing.
doing.
You doing it.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And that is for artists who are interested in teaching artistry, artists who are interested in working with kids in any sort of like artistic way. What advice would you give to them?
You know, I would say, first of all, there are so many places for you to nurture your teaching artist experience. So, there is, I'm gonna mess the name up, but God loves me anyway. Harlem School for the Arts. I think it's like,
Yeah.
they have an
HSA.
program there. A lot of artists go there to teach. There is ASAP, as I said before. But literally, if you Google teaching artists, there are so many different nonprofits out there. The Boys and Girls Club, I've been teaching there off and on for the past like 10 years, I want to say. And they have a Boys and Girls Club in just about every city, I believe. And there are always arts programming there that they need, and YMCA. I mean, if you're looking for it, you'll find it, you know. But definitely those two are the top things that pop out in my head. And there are also like so many theater companies. I know I want to say the New Group and like the Atlantic. There are also like opportunities to teach there.
Yep.
Yeah. When I first graduated from school, I was an education intern at Center Stage Theater in Baltimore. And you know, like interns are all free, but they offer housing and like a stipend. So if you want to go that route, there are a ton of regional theaters out there. I don't know what's going to happen come the next fall, but you know, it's all, the terrain is different. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, things are going to shift a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. You might have to Zoom your internship. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But there are all types of internships in the education departments of theaters. Yeah, I would say give those a search for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You were so cool. Like I told you on the phone call, I was like, I think you were.
Next time I see you, I got to see the bottom pant part of this.
I will wear it. We'll like coordinate. I'll be like, hey, I'm coming through. I'm gonna wear the pants. Let me know. Let me know.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shayna, for being here with us. Everyone, follow Shayna on Instagram. If you go back to the post, it's her IG is tagged there, and then when I save the Instagram live, you'll be able to get all her information. Thanks, ladies. You were great. You were great.
I mean, hold on.
Right.
A moment for her.
Right. We really do, because
beast.
I'm just like shook.
Beat the floor with all the tears and blood that has been shed from her performances. Lord.
Okay.
Seriously, it's amazing.
Blessed and highly favored every day of the week. Okay. Oh, one more question. Someone just asked, how did you get into audiobook narration? I would love to get into more voiceover work.
Ooh, yeah. Now is a great time to do it. You know what? I feel like I should actually do a tutorial about this, because there is so much work to be had there, especially now. Their audiobook companies are like searching out voice actors. Like, so I would say go on Amazon, go on a music site, look up starter mics. And I mean, the way I got into it was random, so I wouldn't suggest getting into it that way. I don't even know how to do what that path is. But if you have a closet, if you have some blankets, and you have a good microphone, you can make an audiobook. No one has to know that you're doing it in your closet, but it's all about like whether the sound is insulated. So you can literally take like 2 or 3 comforters, some pillows, and build a fort around you with the microphone and start out that way. Or if you have like a quiet, small space. And the site that I would go to really like investigate that and learn more is called acx.com. acx.com is a subsidiary of Audible. and they have a whole page on like how to get started, tutorials on what equipment you might need, how much it will cost. And I also know that this company called Sweetwater is also doing like specific financing for artists during this time so that they can buy equipment, and not have to like be as stressed out about whether they can pay for it right away. So if you want to get started doing audiobooks, now is like as good a time as ever, you know.
Okay.
Definitely acx.com.
Please let me know when this tutorial comes through, and we will blast it.
Of course, of course.
Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Be well. Be
You
safe.
too. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Today's Saturday, right? Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yes.
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to save this Instagram live and I'm going to upload it to IGTV. And then I'll also list all of the writers, Parable of the Sower, and acx.com, those resources that Shayna listed. And yes, please be sure to follow her. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for all of you. And thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Let me see. Lanisa Frederick of #Bush passed it on IG Live last week. Okay, bet. I'm going to go check that out if it's still up. But thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Stay blessed. You're blessed and highly favored. Bye.